Let me encourage you today and remind you that Jesus is a barrier breaker. Hello, I'm Eddie Lawrence, and here's today's devotional thought. In Mark 7:24 and following, it's the story of the Syrophoenician woman, a Gentile woman, who comes to Jesus. Now, we're told that Jesus he left Galilee and he went into Tyre and Sidon, and he goes into a house and he's hidden. He's needing some time away from the crowds, but they find out where he is. And one of the people that found out where he was this Gentile woman who had a daughter that was severely tormented by a demon. Now, there's a lot of good stuff in this story. We're not going to get to all of it today, but here's what I want to point out. When you study what happens here, you see just how much of a barrier breaker that Jesus was. Number one, he leaves Jewish territory, where he was, goes into Gentile territory. In Matthew's account, Jesus tells the woman, my primary purpose is to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's why I came. And so he's in Gentile territory. She's a Gentile, a Syrophoenician woman. Matthew says a woman from Canaan. In other words, she's Gentile, she's pagan, she doesn't worship the God of Israel. She's off limits for Jewish people. You see, in that day, for a Jewish person to go into a Gentile house, that was considered unclean. But Jesus, he was in a house in Gentile territory. Not only that, the woman obviously comes into the house where he was. So a Gentile coming into the house and being there with a Jewish person, a Jewish man, that's a problem, ceremonially speaking. Well, that's not all. She was a woman. And for a man and a woman, and particularly a Gentile woman with a Jewish man to be in a Gentile territory and probably a Gentile house, may have been a Jewish house, but either way, there's a bull in a china shop concerning tradition and their customs and beliefs and the idea of being unclean. And yet, at the end of this story, Jesus ministers to this woman. Now, he said it's not good to take the children's bread and give it to the little dogs, because Gentiles were considered dogs. Jesus basically is saying to the puppies. He scales it down a little bit. But she says, well, even the dogs need the crumbs off the table. What's going on here? It's the ethnic barriers. It's the Jewish Gentile barrier. It's the man-woman barrier. And Jesus just hurdles them all with God's love to help this Gentile woman. In addition, her daughter had a demon, and that we'll get into that later. But maybe you're struggling overcoming some barriers, or maybe you feel like, hey, I'm a barrier to someone else. And Jesus came. Listen, he's the insider that opened the door to the outsiders. He's the man that opened the door to the woman. He's the brother that opened the door to the Gentiles and says, come and be a part of God's family. He is the ultimate barrier breaker. And okay, I'm going to close with this. I got to finish. There's some barriers in our minds, believing friends, that we need to let this same Jesus break so that we can overcome them. God bless you. Have a good day. Thanks for hanging out with me.